a soft-spoken doctor, an act of calculated murder, and a legend that inspired the world's most iconic fictional cannibal. This is the story of Dr. Alfredo Treviño, the real Hannibal Lecter. But there's something even darker than what you saw on screen. In this episode, we're decoding the psychology of a killer and exposing the truth about cannibalism as a psychiatric disorder. It's 1959, Monterrey, Mexico. Dr. Alfredo Treviño is a 28-year-old physician from a wealthy family, respected, soft-spoken, and a rising star in his community. But one night, he and his lover, Castillo Ranja, get into an argument. What happens next is brutal. Dr. Treviño drugs and slits his boyfriend's throat, and then meticulously dismembers the body with surgical precision, limb by limb, vein by vein. He wraps the parts in paper, stuffs them into a box, and buries the remains on his family's property. This wasn't a frenzied crime of passion. This was anatomy class. He didn't just kill. He organized. He planned. He cleaned. And he almost got away with it. Let's decode what the law and science says. According to Mexican forensic psychiatry, cannibalism isn't just a crime. It's a recognized symptom of psychiatric disorders. It often appears alongside psychosis, which is loss of reality, sexual sadism, delusional disorders, and in extreme cases, schizophrenia. Cannibalistic behavior can stem from hallucinations, ritualistic thinking, or psychosexual violence. And clinically, cannibalism is broken down into types. Endocannibalism, consuming someone from your own group or family. Exocannibalism, eating the enemy or outsider, often symbolically. Necrocannibalism, devouring the dead. Survival cannibalism, during famine or desperation. Sadistic cannibalism, deriving pleasure, which is often sexual, from killing and consuming. It may come at a surprise, but most cannibalistic serial killers fall under this last category. So, where does Dr. Treviño fit? Dr. Treviño doesn't fit the mold of a psychotic killer. He wasn't hallucinating. He didn't hear voices. This wasn't madness. This was control. Experts would likely place him in the realm of psychopathy. High-functioning, emotionally detached, capable of mimicry, but devoid of empathy, and most tellingly, charming. Very, very charming. A classic mask of sanity, the kind that makes you trust him while he plans your death. Decades later, author Thomas Harris, investigating violent crimes in Mexico, hears whispers about a doctor in prison, a killer, and a hint of something even darker. Curious, Harris visits the prison to interview the Treviño, now working as a prison doctor. The conversation haunts him. Years later, he would write, mannered, intelligent, but he never forgets him. He would later call him Dr. Salazar. He offered me medical advice and casually admitted to murder. He was elegant, a man who had killed and allegedly consumed part of his victim. Harris leaves, but later he becomes Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Suddenly, the fictional world meets a terrifying reality. This wasn't madness. This was psychopathy with an appetite. Here's where it gets bizarre. After serving 20 years, Treviño was released. He returned to practicing medicine, treating the poor, avoiding publicity, dying quietly in 2009, a reformed man or a predator who just stopped hunting. That a man who murdered, dismembered, and lived behind bars for 2 decades could just step back into society, unnoticed. Maybe that's what makes him more chilling than Hannibal. Hannibal Lecter is fiction. Dr. Treviño was real, and maybe he never needed to eat flesh to be monstrous. We may never know. But psychiatric studies suggest this. If his actions included ritualized cannibalism, they likely stemmed from deep-seated delusions or sadistic fantasies, not survival. This was about control, power, intimacy, dominance. Consuming the victim becomes the ultimate possession. Dr. Alfredo Treviño was indeed a cannibal. His case challenges everything we know about monsters. He wasn't a drooling maniac or a wild-eyed lunatic. He was orderly, clean, brilliant, and that's what makes it worse. Psychiatric cannibalism doesn't come with a warning sign. It hides in plain sight. Behind diplomas, it shakes your hand before it cuts you open. Behind good posture, behind a smile. Evil doesn't always look like chaos. Sometimes it's orderly. Sometimes it wears a white coat. So, Treviño isn't just a criminal. He's a symbol of something far darker. How intelligence and empathy don't always come as a pair. So next time you watch The Silence of the Lambs, remember, Hannibal Lecter may be fiction, but his soul walked the halls of a prison in Mexico. This was Decoded, Criminal Minds, where we expose the darkness inside real-life minds that inspired fiction's greatest nightmares. Like, comment, and subscribe, because we're just getting started. And don't forget, not all cannibals are locked up. Some are still wearing white coats.